In recent years, a transformative trend has started to emerge in schools across the United States. There's a growing recognition of the importance of mental health days for students. Previously, school absences they were primarily granted for physical illnesses or emergencies, but today more and more schools are acknowledging that mental well-being is as critical to student success as physical health, giving rise to the concept of mental health days. We're going to talk about all of that and more on today's episode of the Vibe with Kai podcast. So, what are mental health days for students? Well, mental health days are periods of time set aside by schools for students to focus on their mental and emotional well-being. These can be regular pre-planned days where students don't attend school, or they can be days that students can take off as needed. The goal is to provide students with a chance to rest and recharge and focus on their self-care, reducing the impact of stress and anxiety on their academic performance and overall mental health. So why are schools adopting this process? Well, one cannot underestimate the increasing pressures faced by students today. So from the strain of academic expectation to the stress of societal pressures and the rise of digital overstimulation, it's no wonder that the state of student mental health is becoming a priority for educators and parents alike. By allowing students to take mental health days, schools are provided a valuable safety net that acknowledges these challenges and supports students' mental health needs. So, how exactly does mental health days benefit students? Let's talk about that. See, mental health days offer an array of benefits. They provide students with an opportunity to reset, reducing burnout and academic fatigue. Students are granted a safety valve that can help to prevent more serious mental health issues from developing. Further, by acknowledging the need for mental health days, schools are helping to destigmatize mental health issues, encouraging students to be more open about their struggles. So, what's the impact of academic performance with this? Well, contrary to what some might think, mental health days don't necessarily mean a reduction in academic performance. Quite the opposite. In fact, when students are allowed time to rest and recharge, they often return to school more focused and productive. Plus, with the increasing understanding of the links between mental health and academic performance, schools are seeing the potential benefits of this proactive approach to student mental health. So, are there criticisms or challenges? I think the answer is yes. While the idea of mental health days is largely seen as a positive step forward, it is not without its critics. Some fear that students may misuse these days, treating them as an easy excuse to skip school. Others worry about the implications for working parents who may struggle to accommodate these additional days off. It's crucial that as this trend continues to grow, schools establish clear guidelines and provide necessary support to ensure the genuine effectiveness of mental health days. And now this is one of the things that I kind of want to go a little bit further into detail, because one of the biggest issues that we see a lot in our mental health conversation is that a lot of people are not treating mental health the same way that they treat physical health, right? So, like, if a student comes up to you and says, I can't come to school today because my leg is broken, there is no question. There's nobody asked a single question about this. It's just like a accepted, like, oh, well, I hope you feel better, bud. I hope your leg gets better soon. Like, there's no second follow-up question ever. And I wish that we treated mental health the same way that we treated physical health, because mental health is just as, if not more, important. And just imagine how further along our society would be if we just treated them exactly the same. If somebody comes up to a teacher or to anybody really and says, hey, I need to take a mental health day, I'm feeling very anxious today and my brain is just like all over the place, you get so many different questions, and like it's as if they don't believe them, right? Because they can't see it. They may be able to see a broken leg, but they can't see a mental health issue. They can't see ADHD, they can't see depression, they can't see anxiety, they can't see these things. So that they just automatically will just like not give these students or anybody, adults alike, the benefit of the doubt. And like that's not okay. I wish that we were just more open to having this conversation. I feel like we have a long way to go with that. I wish that we would just accept it more, and not have to just always ask these questions about like, oh man, I wish, I wish I could see it so I can believe them, like, or just take their word for it, and with the whole criticism about, oh, well, what if they take advantage of it? Students have been taking advantage of potential days off since the beginning of school. Like since the beginning of the idea of school. How many of you listening to this have ever like, I don't want to say faked a stomach ache, but just like you did something about your physical health, and like it's just like sometimes people just be like, okay, whatever, or they send you to the nurse. What is the difference between that and if you're having a panic attack? Just because you can't see it, like it's okay to ask questions, but like don't ask questions under the assumption that the kid is lying, or that even if it's an adult at work, don't ask questions as if like, you're bullshitting me, aren't you? You just don't want to work today. How about, well, let's not approach it that way. If you see a kid hunched over, there's no questions. Oh, he's throwing up. Well, you can see him throwing up, so let's take him to the nurse. But like what a lot of people don't understand is that a lot of us mask these things. A lot of our neurospicy community, we've learned how to mask this stuff. So you can't see it because we purposefully hide it from you. And I wish more people understood that. And hopefully the more and more people understand it, the more and more we have these conversations, the more and more people will start to understand that, we're not bullshitting you. There's a literal chemical issue going on in my brain, and I need to just step away from this for a second. This will help me be a better student. This will help me be a better worker. This will help me be a better friend, a better family member, a better husband, a better wife, a better brother, sister, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever it may be. It's going to help me be a better person for me. I just wish that we had these kind of conversations more often. In conclusion, the rise of mental health days in American schools is a clear signal of shifting societal attitudes towards mental health. This shift towards treating physical and mental health with equal importance is encouraging, and if executed properly, it promises a brighter future for student mental health across the country, possibly even across the world. With that said, my friends, thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Vibe with Kai podcast. If you want to learn more about how I personally manage my own personal mental health on a daily basis, if you're looking for some tips and tricks and just some behind the scenes looks at my life, and hopefully you can take some of these things and use that for yourself, then subscribe to the Vibe with Kai on Patreon. It's only $1 a month. That's $12 a year. You'll get all of that and so much more. So with that said, my friends, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate y'all more than you could ever possibly know. As always, much love, good vibes. I'll catch you later. Bye.